Welcome to episode 19 of Trail Times Podcast with Big Bear Events. I'm recording this on Tuesday night, Tuesday the 25th of November, month till Christmas. We had our Dormouse Challenge and the Petzl Nights Trail 10k on Friday. Both absolute success, absolutely brilliant. It's the end of the Big Bear year. Went really, really well. We're going to start with some clips from the daytime. There are none from the night because the few that I did do, I messed up the recording, and so there's no audio with it. So I might show some of the audio later. So if you are some of the video later. So if you are watching this on YouTube, then when I'm talking about the night race, I might show a little bit from the start. But there's no audio, so given that this goes out as a podcast as well, I can't just show that on its own, so I'll just talk over it, it'll be fine. And as has been a theme for the previous 19 of these episodes, I didn't get anywhere near enough audio or clips from the day, but I did get a few, and I did get one that I thought was incredibly funny with Marion, but again, the audio wasn't great, so I've tried to play with it to make it as good as I possibly can. And again, if you're watching it and you think I look like I've sort of been sleeping in a car for about 2 weeks, I don't know why when I get very, very cold and I put on 3,000 layers, that's sort of my look. But last Friday, if you've forgotten, was absolutely freezing, and to be honest, I think I might mention it every other word in these clips, so we'll just go straight to the clips. From Salcey Forest for the Dormouse Challenge this morning during the day, and then the Petzl Night Trails 10k later on today. If you're watching this rather than listening to this, you'll see that I've got a woolly hat, a buff, I've got a coat, a jumper, a t-shirt, a long sleeve underlayer, trousers, long johns, long socks. I am freezing still. It is very, very cold here. It looks beautiful. I'd imagine we're going to get cracking photos. It's so cold that the little dog bowls that you can see behind me, they've already frozen. So we're having to keep on adding slightly colder or slightly warmer water to these things all the time to stop the water from freezing. It is freezing. Also at this event, we're joined by Laura from Dry Run again. Have a look at what she's doing about, my brain's frozen as well, which is why I can't even put sentences together. About bladder leakage, I can't put sentences together. Bladder leakage pads for women that suffer with bladder leakage as they run. And we're also joined by Moulton College and a handful of their sports massage students who are hoping to get a bit of hands-on experience helping our runners for free, which is awesome, as they go around. It's really, really cold though, so I don't think we're going to get people stripping down to their pants to then be massaged as they go around, so I don't know how they're going to get around that, but hopefully people go and use them because it's a really cool little addition to the day, something that's just a little bit different for people as they go around. We're currently sort of at the end of lap 1 for the majority of people. This is the first person coming through on lap 2, Canny Crossing, going at a pretty rapid pace. We've got loads of people running, which is amazing. I reckon there's probably over a third of people doing their first Big Bear event, which again is amazing. It just means we have to explain things more, which is fine. But you obviously need to have lots of new people all the time to keep feeding them in, and then come back and they tell their friends and so on and so on. So it's really, really, really good to have all those new people join us for the first time. Obviously lots of familiar faces as well, but it's great to have lots of new people. The plan for me for today is to try and chat to some of these people, and also you might not see these videos until much later, but to do some videos of what the aid station looks like and the setup there as well, because that is one of the main questions I get, is what's the food going to be like, can I drop my bag here, how does this work, and so on. So I'm going to try my best to try and get those videos done, because I've got a lot of volunteers and a lot of very good competent volunteers that know what they're doing, so I can leave them to it and it'll all be good. So if my fingers haven't frozen off, then there will be some more videos coming, hopefully chatting to people as they run around with us at the Dormouse Challenge in what I can only assume is minus 30 degrees. I can only assume BBC's got it wrong. It's not 0, it's got to be minus 30 because I'm really, really, really cold. How are we doing, Marion?
I'm good, thank you.
So how's your day going?
It's good. I've done 4 laps. Done my half marathon.
Are you not at a spa day?
No.
You're getting a massage in the
woods.
woods?
Massage in 1 degree
Massage
in the woods.
Massage in the woods. You've got a white fluffy towel on.
White fluffy towel and a blanket underneath.
I should be charging 150 quid for this.
You should be. Especially with 2 people at a time.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I didn't want to make some sort of like 1970s joke about 2 young men. But anyway. But yeah, if this was Centre Parks, you'd be paying about 200 quid for this.
Yeah.
It's only down the road. So you've got yourself an absolute bargain of a spa day.
Absolute bargain of a spa day.
It's good though, right?
Wasn't enough mud for a face pack.
Yeah, there is that.
It's a bit dry.
If we chuck you in the mud on the way out, trip you up, and then we'll charge you extra for that.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Am I in it?
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, you are. No, it's just all on me. This is
It's just me in the background.
right. So you've got a woolly hat and sunglasses on.
Yeah,
So what is that sort of day, right?
that sort of day. Frost hasn't lifted all day, but better that than rain.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yeah, I think we all agree on that. How's your day gone?
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Love it.
How far? How long?
35k,
35k.
4 hours, 4.5 hours.
Yeah.
So I'll take that. Good. Definitely take that. Love a big bear.
Good.
Out in the sunshine, chatting, listening to music.
Perfect.
No stress.
As I said, awful job on my part for getting clips with people. Really frustrating because it was a brilliant day and I'm sure lots of people would have had some really nice things to say about it. Had loads and loads of really good feedback on Race Check already. But I just like to chat to people without sticking a camera in their face. It just makes it so much easier and so much more personable to just chat with people as they go round than to sort of put a camera in front of them, which is why you tend to see the same people that I talk to because they're people that I've spoken to 1,000 times, and so they're quite happy to have a camera put in their face. Marion, who I got while having a massage, which I'll explain that in a moment, because she volunteered in the evening as well, absolutely superstar. So as I was sorting out her volunteer vouchers today, I had a look to see how many times that she's been to our events, and I think she's been to 18 events over the years. So these people come to lots and lots of events, and I'm incredibly grateful. I never take it for granted, but the people that come to lots of events, they know who I am, and so sticking a GoPro in their face isn't quite as intrusive as when you're just a random person that's turned up to your first event in the woods with these strange people, and then suddenly somebody's sticking a GoPro in your face and you're not entirely sure why. So I need to get better at that. So I guess it's early, but it's going to be a New Year's resolution to be better at getting the clips at the events, because I think that they are good. I think they're good for this, but I think they're just good generally for engagement as well. So I'm going to make sure I do that. Speaking of Marion being on the massage bed, it was brilliant being having Moulton College with us, and I want to get this right. I don't know if I'm going to get it right, but I'm going to try. They're level 4 sports massage students. So I think there are about 8-10 of them, considering it was so cold, so cold. I knew they were coming. We'd sorted out in the summer with their tutor. They contacted me and asked if they could come along. Of course, it'd be absolutely brilliant. And that was in July. I think we sorted that out. At no point did I think, well, I did say it might be raining, it might be cold, but I didn't think it would be sort of negative figures all day long. And so wanting to strip down and have a massage isn't really what anybody's going to do when it's that cold. So I think it was actually quite good for the students because they need hands-on experience. That's the whole point of them being there. But to have sort of real experience of, well, this happens in the real world, so you've got to come up with a bit of a plan, and doing it effectively over trousers because no one wants to be taking the bottom half off and any of that, I think was quite good for them. And the way that our events work, where it's not a mad rush at the end and it's sort of a steady flow of people, it works really well for them, because I think the gist of how it works for them is they do the massage, they then have a mini debrief with the tutor, and then they go on to do the next one. So because there's a little bit of a break in between each one, and there's other kids to come in and sort of take over, it works much better. Whereas if that was at the end of a traditional half marathon, that window between, I want to say, sort of 2 hours and 2 hours 45, when 90% of the people finish, it's just manic, and you're just rushing around, and you can't get to think. Whereas they saw, I think they told me, 37 people spaced over probably 4 hours or so. Perfect. So they all got to get involved. It's good that it's on a weekday as well, because, you know, if you're in teaching, you don't really want to be coming on a weekend, so you can do it during the week. So it's great for the tutor, the teacher. It's good for the kids because they just get a day off timetable and they can come out and do things. So it worked really well. I'm hoping, I need to follow up, but I'm hoping it won't be the last time we're joined by them. I'm super keen to help the next generation of people that are involved in sports come through. It's really good for the runners. They get a free massage at the end as they go through, and whenever they want, as long as they want. It did make me laugh listening to some of the students as I was sort of wandering off somewhere on site. They were chatting to each other saying, "Oh, we couldn't get that guy to get off the bed," because I guess if you've got a free massage, you might as well take as long as you can while it's free. And where they're sort of younger and I guess probably a little bit shyer and inexperienced, they don't quite know how to oink you off the bed when they want to get somebody else on, which I just found quite funny. But it was brilliant, and I love having these people at the events that are going to just add a little bit something for the runners. There's no benefit to me personally, and there's no benefit to Big Bear as such, but if I can add these sort of little bits on top of the good solid event, I'm hoping people are more likely to come back, because it makes it more of an occasion, it makes it more of an event. It's not sort of your sort of bread and butter, come and run, get your medal, bottle of water and go home. We're trying to add these extra bits on to make it a bit more special so that you want to come back. And we draw in other people because they tell them about all the cool things we had. We're joined again by Laura from Dry Run as well, with the bladder leak pads for women. And again, that sort of stuff, people that are involved in running, innovative, I can't say the word, we'll just go with cool, I can never say that word, but the word begin with I. Products that are for runners, that aren't sort of fads and sort of strange nutrition things that are all a bit gimmicky. Like, it's brilliant, and it's target market because effectively it's for all women. I think it affects, I going on a bit of a limb here, but I'm pretty sure it affects more women after they've given birth, but I think it still also affects women before they've given birth, and it's incredibly taboo, and that's going to be the way it is, I guess. Maybe it shouldn't be. If people are talking about it, then it's a good thing, and if we've got it there and it's sort of in your face, then you can go and engage with it and you can see what there is to offer. So very much an open sort of come and get me type plea. If you happen to have a new running product, or you know somebody that's trying to launch one and they want to come to one of our events, get them to get in contact, because I really enjoy it, and I think that adding these little bits in, where we then have Petzl come in the evening as well, we have Ultra come along to quite a few of the events as well, those little bits separate out my 6-hour events from other 6-hour events that are out there, and also from other much bigger sort of normal sorts of events as well. So I really like doing it, and it'll be something we'll continue to do for a long time, hopefully. I wrote a few little bits down from the day as well as to what happened. One thing that, I don't know, make me laugh isn't really the right phrase, but in a lot of the photos, a really, really good photo from the start of a lady running with her dog. That was Bridget, that did a half marathon with the dog. She'd messaged me before because I think she was a little bit worried about going as far as that with the dog, and so on and so on. So a little bit of back and forth. The dog, as is always the case, looked like they could have been running for 600 hours, let alone the 2 hours that they were running for. It's always the case. Dog looked like they enjoyed it. Bridget looked like she loved it. She was flying the whole way round. She had the quickest half marathon time, just over 2 hours out of anybody, and was a complete success. And it's just lovely to see people, and especially with the dogs, go further than they've ever gone before in an event where there's absolutely no pressure, and just really enjoy it. And they're clearly new to the sort of format that we do at Big Bear, and I like introducing people to it, and that whole idea that just come and do what you want. I cannot say enough how much I do not care how fast people go. It makes no difference to me, it makes no difference to the person next to you, and it's very, very much about just you. Because unless you're going to win something, your time is just completely irrelevant. And without putting my events down, coming first place at one of my events isn't going to be something that's going to get you a massive brand deal or be the highlight of your running career. They're just not those sorts of events. I mean, really cool when you do it. My one and only race victory came in a 6-hour event where I did go further than everybody else in the first ever one that I ever did, down with Saxon, Vikings and Normans, that I think I've spoken about before. And I crossed the line. I'd never done this sort of thing before. Crossed the line. I'd come first. We're I don't know, waiting for the cannons to go off. I just get a handshake and, oh, well done. And I thought, oh. And then, so at the time, I maybe was a bit, not put out is probably a bit strong, but I was a bit sort of miffed, thinking, I've just won a race. And then the more I do it and the more I've sort of got into the ultra running mentality and the trail running mentality rather than a road running mentality, I've realised that you don't need glitter cannon. That's not how these things work. It's what you do yourself. Yes, I won that event, but that's just because other people on that day had different goals. I spent 6 hours and I did 35 miles, I think, something like that. Maybe 38, I can't remember. But somebody might have done a marathon in 2.5 hours. It's different, and that's what I say to people as they run around doing ours as well. So hopefully other people have that ethos as well, but that's not really in my control. But that's how I like to do things. So it is done with intention, because I want everybody to be happy with what they're doing on the day, and we celebrate everybody's successes, which sounds a little bit of a cop-out, but that is my genuine thoughts of, unless you're going to be setting a world record or you're winning in an elite field, it's very much just your personal accomplishment of what you want to do. And seeing some of the people do their longest runs, going from 10k to 20 miles, things like actual conversations, that's not hypotheticals. I have so many of these conversations at every single event that I don't even write those ones down, because they just become sort of normal, which is really, really cool, because it's not normal, and I should probably highlight these things more often and make a proper list of these things. So I think I'll try and do that. That's going to be the second New Year's resolution for 2026. I'm going to have a lot of these. I should probably write those down as well. But it was great to see. And another thing that was really cool to see as well was the 3 ash downs that were running. So I looked through the entry list as I sort of print out the bib numbers and things. I thought, 3 people with the surname Ashdown, I wonder if they're related. And so I had 3 siblings. I don't have their ages in front of me, but I'm going to say they're in the 20s, 30s sort of thing. So, they're not 18. So just these 3 siblings had come out, they ran a half marathon together. I think there was another sibling out watching, and then a partner out watching as well. And so it was like a whole family get together, which I just thought is so cool. Like, we quite often, for the 10Ks especially, sometimes for the 6-hour ones, but for the 10Ks especially, we'll have like father, daughter, mother, son, whatever, like combinations like that. But I don't think we've had 3 siblings running together before. So I'm gonna go out there and say, at least with the same surname. If people have changed surnames, then I guess I don't pick up on that. But I don't think we've had 3 people with the same surname that are siblings running together. I know we've actually had a mum, dad, and a daughter running in the same race before. Chambers at Brixworth. I can't remember the year, but I remember the three of them running that. But it's just really, really nice, and hopefully the sort of family atmosphere of the event means you want to bring your family to the event. I mean, it's that sort of environment, and they can run it together. There's no worry about one of them being really quick and running off, or any of that. Or if one of them does want to be really quick and run off, they can still keep running fast laps, but they'll keep seeing each other as they overtake each other. They can meet each other at the aid station. They can do all sorts. So it just makes it a lot more communal, whether you're brother and sister or club mates or, you know, whatever it is. So it works. But if you're listening to this and you're watching this, you're probably already sold on that part. I don't think anybody's going to be getting this far in to one of these podcasts if they haven't come to one of the events. So I think I'm trying to preach the converted here a little bit, but I'll keep going anyway. And what was also very nice, and I don't know if he does listen or watch, but to see Jim Eastman back with us as well. So Jim, I think Jim is probably, if he's not the second most frequent person, he would have been this time last year, but he's had a terrible year, to be honest. So we've not seen him. I don't think we've seen him since this event last year, I don't think. So Jim came back. He's looking a million times better. Absolute hero. Just the nicest man. Does so much for... He's done lots for Big Bear, loads of volunteering for us, but then he does loads for Parkrun. He does loads for just absolute sort of salt of the earth legend, just brilliant man. So it's really, really nice to see Jim back, especially out running again. Hopefully he just keeps it steady and keeps going. I think he's beginning to learn the lesson that it's better to do a little bit all the time than loads and then get injured or get ill or any of that. So hopefully he listens to what he said to me and he sticks to that as well, because we love having Jim at the events, and so hopefully we'll see him lots more in 2026. The Dormouse Challenge was also our biggest ever 6-hour event, which is awesome. So that event had 160 people entered for it. Didn't have 160 people turn up on the day. I think we had 140 turn up on the day. But we had 160 people enter for it. It sold out so far in advance that I was able to order more medals in to then open an extra load of entries. So it's brilliant, really, really good. And I've gone back through, I've tried my best. So I should have been doing this from day one, but because I haven't, it's caused me a bit of a headache. I've gone back through all of my events that we've put on, and I've tried to essentially work out how many people have entered each one and whether it's sold out, and for my own information, the amount of money that I took in for each of those events. And I go back and I look at some of the events, and it just makes me want to cry a little bit. It's just how bleak sort of 2021, 2022 was. But I then look at 2025 and pretty much, I think, I'll need to triple check this before I fully confirm, but I think there was only one event this year that didn't sell out, either sort of literally or effectively. So we either sort of got to the total amount, I think two. So there's 2 events, and they were the Bat Challenge, and that was just a little bit short, and then the Woodland Challenge, and the idea of that was to effectively jam another event in rugby that was close. So I wasn't massively concerned that didn't sell out. But all the other events have sold out this year, which has been incredible. I was a little bit worried about having so many people, because the whole point of Big Bear is to give you a sort of an experience where you feel like you're an individual, not a number, which is cliche, very cliche, but the fact that I can call out everybody's name as they cross the line, they'd get to a point where if there were too many people, that wouldn't really work. It's always a bit of a fudge on that first lap when 20 people turn up, like as they're coming through, and there's like they come across as 20, and I'm just like banging out boom, 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 boom names. And I appreciate that's not particularly personable, but that's only ever on the first lap. And then once people spread out that little bit more, it's not like that. So there is a limit, probably I think 175 entries for each event. Sometimes, so places like Daventry Country Park, that number will be lower because there's no parking. So that car park at Daventry only holds 110 people, I think. Well, if I sell 150 entries and you can't park, we've got a bit of a problem. I never, ever, ever want to put an event on and have people have to worry about where they're parking, or tell them just work it out. That is not what I do. We've done, and again, I need to confirm this, but about 120 events, and not once have we had an issue with parking. So that's not what I'm doing. It's not what I'm about. But obviously, the more people that enter, the more money I make. And as much as I don't want to be all about the money, I do have to put food on the table. I mean, luckily my wife has a proper job that puts food on the table, but we do need to earn money. It is a commercial organisation, so it's just been a really, really good year, and it's been solid throughout. And I think, again, I'll sort of properly look at the numbers, but I'm pretty sure that this is the first year where I've had solid numbers throughout. I mean, I'm looking just quickly here, and I can see 2024 in September. I had an event that had 95 entries at Kingsby Water Park, but then when I did that event when I had the event at Coombe Abbey in September, I had 140 entries. That's a big difference. Those sort of 40, 50 entries is a big chunk of money, which goes from making the event just about break even to actually making some money. So it's just those little bits extra, and I'm not going to get these events to 300 people. I don't think I probably couldn't anyway, even if I wanted to, but I don't want to do that. The Trailfest events, they are bigger, and to be honest, if you're coming to run a Trailfest 10k, it isn't the same sort of experiences you'd get if you came and ran even in one of the nighttime 10ks or in one of the 6-hour events, because it's a different sort of event. Hopefully we still do a trail 10k better than most other people. That's what I'd like to think, or as good as the best, but it's still different to what we do with our other events. That's a long way of saying really, really good entry numbers. And if you want to come and do the events, enter early. You can always transfer out, defer your entry. I put a gift card onto your account for the value of your entry if there's no events coming up you want to do. As long as you give me 7 days notice, that's absolutely fine. I do get a bit frustrated, and it is part of the job. So this is a contradicting myself. I get annoyed when people moan about it, but it does also annoy me of people emailing saying, oh, well, can I have a refund? It's like, well, yeah, you can do up to 7 days in advance, but you can't within 24 hours of the event starting when I've closed entries, because it's just not how it works. It's a small business. I am the local baker, the local butcher. It's that sort of relationship, and I've been really, really fair in giving you all that time to cancel up until 7 days. But there's got to be a point where you say no, your entry's in. If you entered the majority of big city marathons or big city half marathons, once you enter, that is it. You don't get any refunds. There's none of that. You enter Ironman at £600, £700, £800, £1,000, whatever it is. Their refund policy is really poor. Or you take out insurance that costs you 12%, 10% of the entry fee. And they're a multi-million, billion-pound company, whatever it is. So it's just a bit of give and take. But it's a very, very small minority of people that ask for that. And I try to be as fair as I can. So it is what it is. But 160 people entered, absolutely brilliant. So all in all, apart from the fact it was freezing, and I had frost on tablecloths, I had frost underneath the gazebo at 9 a.m. Apart from that part, it was brilliant, and I'd take the frost over rain any day. That said, I went to my van today and then realised that the whole of the underside of the van on the inside, where it had essentially frozen, was now just completely soaked with water. And so then I got kitchen roll that happened to be out to try and clean it, but it was so much water that I was sort of just brushing water over all of my stuff. So that's a bit of a pain, but I haven't got events to do for 2 months now, so I've got time to go and sort all that out, tidy it all up, and try and get it as dry as possible, because there's nothing worse than having mouldy kit, because it absolutely stinks and ends up normally just getting thrown away if the mould really sets in. So you have to keep this stuff dry, especially when it doesn't come out for 8 weeks or however long it is until the Crocodile Challenge. So we had the daytime event, and then we had the Petzl Night Trails 10K, second of the series. We were at Coombe Abbey the first time round. At Coombe Abbey, we had 165 entries, and on Friday, we had 140 entries. So a little bit less, but still quite good. So that event last year, we had 125 entries. The year before, 84 entries. So it's building, which is really, really good, because, I mean, obviously I want to have more entries. I want the cafe to have more people going to the cafe, so they want to stay open. I want more people trying the Petzl head torches on, so that they want to come and support the event. So more people is always good. And it was a brilliant event. So I'll play some of the start as I'm waffling, because you don't need to look at me. And if you're listening, it makes no difference. Don't worry too much about that. But it was brilliant. We had 15 people running with dogs. We had 118 in total start. It was absolutely excellent. And the dog start, as always, beautifully chaotic. The dogs are so loud. When we have dogs during the day, they don't make a peep. They sit during the briefing and they're just quiet. And I mean, I think, to be honest, I think the people with the dogs that bark a lot just miss the briefing and then come along 2 minutes later. But there's no sort of hysteria at the start, the same as you do at park run. Every time I've been to a park run, the dogs go crazy. But for some reason, the 6 hour events, it's all nice and relaxed. But for the nighttime 10Ks, the dogs are going mad, and they're just so loud. But they're just excited. There's no aggression in the dogs. They're excited. They're bouncing around, and it's brilliant. And everybody that turned up, perfect attitude to it, knew exactly what they were doing. I did a race briefing, a virtual race briefing that people watched before. Absolutely spot on. Just worked an absolute treat. And the winner in the Canicross did 39 minutes, which is pretty rapid around that course as well, which is always good to see as well. Just an excellent day. Again, freezing, obviously. And I had, for these 10Ks, I have to have pretty much a minimum of 10 volunteers. If I'm getting closer to 15, that works a lot better. And about 2 weeks beforehand, I only had 3. So I sort of put out a bit of an emergency plea, and then ended up effectively with a few too many, which is brilliant. And I, again, never take it for granted. It's just so lovely that people are willing to come and give their time to help me, but to help the wider running community. And I'm not particularly spiritual, but it's got to be good for the karma. It's got to be good. If you're going to give something back, you'd hope that the running gods are going to help you a little bit, maybe avoid an injury for a little while. But without them, these events don't happen. And the 10K runners expect to see more volunteers out on the course. I don't think I'd get away with having the same level of on-course support, i.e. none, for a 10K as I do for the 6 hour events. I just think that I would get a barrage of abuse. I get more comments about the signage. I don't get any comments about the size of the signage at the 6 hour events or even at Trailfest. But when we do the nighttime 10Ks, pretty much every time somebody says the signs are too small, they weren't bright enough. There's always a problem with the signs, but it'll be 1 or 2 comments, and then the majority of the comments will say, or the comments that comment on the signage will be telling me how excellently it's signed, and so on and so on. So I take it a little bit with a pinch of salt. But it's just that expectation level. If you've come from road running, if you've come only doing park runs, you expect, I don't know, A0 size signs and marshals in every corner. But I'm putting these on from a trail running, from an ultra running sort of side, where you've got some signs. You should sort of be happy, because sometimes you do events with absolutely no signage and just a handshake at the end. So it's sort of bridging that gap a little bit. So I'm not trying to, maybe I've worded that badly, I'm not trying to like educate people. That's not what I'm getting at. I'm not trying to be all high and mighty at all. But the signage is fine. It's just people's expectations. Nobody got lost. So if you don't get lost, in my mind, the signage has got to be pretty decent. That's how I see it. And the big difference with this event as well is, and this might sound a bit silly after all of these events, especially if you've been to them, but it's the first time I've done traditional chip timing. So on the back of every single bib, my children stuck a foam timing chip on the back of each individual one, and that was everybody's timing chip, which meant I could then leave the timing mat out to do the finish line, and it worked and picked up every single person and was brilliant. In the past, for the last, I want to say I've done 15 of those nighttime 10Ks in the dark. The way that I've done the timing is by eyeballing the number, tapping the number in, pressing enter, and doing it like that, which when we do the summer ones is absolutely fine, but for the nighttime ones is awful, because you can't see the numbers until it's too late, which means it's a whole process to have to get another volunteer to try and find their number, because if people have got chest torches on over the number, or there's a group of 4 or 5 people finishing at once, it just makes it really, really difficult. I've always got by, and there's never been any great dramas, but it just adds to quite a complicated day in the cold, in the wet, in the dark, whereas having the chip timing worked an absolute treat. So you'll be seeing the chip timing at all future 10Ks. We'll have it at the Trail Fests. Just a more traditional chip timing, because essentially if you've done one of the 6-hour events, the tags, the little white sort of cards that we give you now, it's all exactly the same technology, just in a slightly different way. I could do a bib and chip for every single person, brand new one for every single event, but it seems quite wasteful, let alone the money. It's just, we just don't need to do it. We can reuse this stuff. So, you know, if I'd have been doing that from day one, we'd have used 8,000 chips, something like that, and instead we've used maybe, I don't know, 300 by the time I've replaced ones once they've sort of got a bit tatty. So it works differently for the different events, but it did make that 10K so much easier doing that as well. And I should also give a mention to Joe Chick as well. I felt bad on the night a little bit, because I pointed out to them that they always come second. It doesn't matter who is running, it doesn't matter who else is there, they seem to always be second. Really nice person though, so I don't want to sort of, I felt bad when I said it, because I sort of thought about what I'd said once I'd said it, but it is quite funny that regardless of who turns up, I know that they're going to come second. It just seems to be they run at quite a consistent speed, and there's always somebody that's a little bit faster, but it's just a different person each time, which just made me chuckle a little bit. But maybe I should have thought that to myself. And that's about it really. So 2 really, really good events, a beautiful way to finish 2025. 2026 is shaping up to be a really good year as well. I'm definitely going to do another podcast before Christmas, because there are quite a few little bits I'd like to cover off, and I've already whittled on for quite a long time. And if you're watching, you'll notice that I've completely changed in the last 2 minutes, because the recording didn't work for the last parts that I recorded last night, so I'm now recording this at 5 o'clock in the morning the day after. But there are a couple of little things that I do want to mention. Again, if you're watching this helps a lot more. As you can see now, I am in the new Big Bear hoodie, bright red hoodie, nice big logo, really, really nice. Whenever I buy big, thick sort of cotton clothes like this, I normally don't want to try it on because my t-shirt will be covered in pieces, and then you tumble dry, or you wash and tumble dry it, and then the tumble dryer is covered in pieces. That hasn't happened with this somehow. It's some sort of witchcraft. Incredibly warm. It's freezing in my office this morning, which is why I've put the hoodie on. I hadn't expected to be recording, but that's why I've put the hoodie on. And really, really nice. So these are going to be on the shop online. I've got stock of them as well, so I'll be able to send them out. I don't have loads because I wanted to try it first before ordering more, but I think they're going to be really popular because they are really, really nice and they stand out and they're quite smart. So have a look online for those. I will also have some other merch as well to that I've not listed before. So I'm thinking, I don't know how well this is going to go. It might be a complete car crash, but I might do a sort of QVC style go through all of the merch, because there's quite a few bits that I've added during the year that people don't necessarily know are there, and so I think I'm going to be quite explicit as to what we currently are selling. So I'll do that. We've also started getting some windbreakers and t-shirts. The t-shirts aren't here yet, for volunteers. So the idea is that you take these away as a volunteer. Nice little windbreaker. It's not going to sort of, it's not good enough for today when it's -4 outside, but it's something to put over the top of your t-shirt. Hopefully wear it on the day, but keep hold of it and then wear it in the gym, wherever you want to wear your kit. And it's just something nice to give to people that are coming along to help. So the plan is to I've got a big bunch of those windbreakers already, and then the t-shirts will hopefully arrive as well. So if it's in the middle of the summer, take a t-shirt. If it's the sort of temperature is now, have a windbreaker and chuck it over the top of your coat or whatever it is. If it's really, really cold, just stick a coat on and don't worry, but just take one to have at home. So that is the plan with that. And then I'm also going to do some recording of frequently asked questions as well. So I've got a long list of frequently asked questions on the website, but when you're doing the responses to those, brevity is something that you're trying to do, and I'm not very good with that, as you can see over half an hour into this recording. So what I'm going to try and do is record answers to the simple questions like, can I have a refund? And rather than just saying, go to the refund policy, I will talk about what the refund policy is, and I'll try and explain a little bit how it works and why it works like that. So that is the plan for that, and then to put out essentially one great big YouTube clip and then make it so you can pick out the answers that you want within that. I think I can make that work. So I'm going to be doing a bit of that. Trailfest in September will be announced shortly, hopefully. So I found another new venue to try and use because the last new venue just didn't quite work out. But this one's pretty special. I mean, just the actual drive to the start is pretty impressive. It's not land that's used for other events. Technically it's not true. There is one event that uses this stately home, I want to call it. It's probably not technically correct, but there is one event that uses the venue, but it's not similar to Trailfest. It'll be the first ever marathon, half marathon, might even be the first 10k. I think they use it for a 5k. So it's going to be really, really nice. I went and ran the route during the week. I think it's pretty special. It's not Cannock Chase. It's not really, really hilly. It is lumpy though. Like I was pretty tired doing it. There's farm track. There's grassland. There's some little wooded sections. I think it's really quite special. So hopefully I'll get the I's dotted and the T's crossed, and we'll get that announced in the next couple of weeks. There's still another venue as well for a 6-hour event, a brand new venue that I'm hoping to launch. Currently that is with Natural England because it goes through a site of special scientific interest, a SSSI, and apparently it requires loads of paperwork, and so it's been sitting with them for the last 6 weeks for them to agree, which is really annoying because we're using exactly the same paths that the park uses all the time, so I don't really know why it makes any difference that it's going to be you lot running around it rather than people tearing around on bikes. It's beyond me, but I do what I'm told to do. So hopefully I'll have some new stuff to announce very shortly. Like I say, I'm going to do like a roundup pod for the year as well. It's been a really, really good year, so I want to celebrate those successes, and hopefully give you a little bit of behind the scenes footage as to what I look at and what I deem to be a success as well. But thanks very much for sticking with me. If you've got to this point, you clearly are a fan, or you've just left it on and forgotten to turn it off. But I'll be back with more episodes soon. Thank you.
Drum, drum,